All right, we are back. Good to see you guys. It is episode 82 of Hero Labs Live. Name is RT, and I'm here in the lab with the image of Scott Melker, hinting at what is to be on later today on the episode. We've got him lingering towards the green room as we speak. Just waiting to hear back on a few things. Should have him in here shortly. I know he was live very recently, so probably just running through the hair and makeup routine. What do we have here in the chat? A little quiet today. I hope that's not Bitcoin scaring away anyone from this market. It is a beautiful day to be a trader. A lot of really good levels coming in, and I'm seeing some really interesting breakouts on a couple of names that I picked up this morning. And one or two of them are actually dipping into sort of, well, pretty much where I got them, buy zones. Nice little fall off on Bitcoin this morning. Craziness coming out of the GameStop saga. And I've been reading up a little bit on that this morning. Not really my bread and butter, playing in the stock market. However, I do have a little bit of a stock account going. AMC kind of pisses me off. That thing fucking mooned today. Crazy. Okay, we've got confirmation. Scott is on his way. Link TG. So he'll be sliding into the green room shortly. Good to see you, Boris. Welcome back. And Matt, nice to have you back with us. Or for the first time. Not sure if I recognize that that image, but there you go. And as you guys can see, I got my camera fixed, which is great. I think the camera was fine. Apparently Chrome doesn't like us anymore, so we've switched to Safari. Go figure. We're going back in time here. I think right now I just want to get into the charts, and we'll have Scott on here shortly. You know what? Where's the screen share option, Johnny? It's not showing up. That's the one thing we needed. There's no screen share. It's like, would you like this camera? This camera. We got two cameras now. And let me just dive into my settings here, guys. This is a fun one. Rendezvous always taking us for a spin here. We actually tried to switch over to Chrome for the What up, weirds? Good to see you, Joseph Lerma. How about Genius? Well, we'll check out Genius in a minute. Security, privacy. Let's go take a look at my privacy settings. Perhaps screen recording. That's really bizarre. Feels like we're back in July. Back in July, new to the streaming. Seems like every day there's a little something going on. This week, Rendezvous's giving us that same kind of runaround. Like drop down options. I mean, even Google Meets lets you screen share, so I don't know what's going on. Alas, only when you're live does something not quite work. Let's go flip over to Google Chrome. We'll be back in 35 seconds. And we're back, but we are looking at the wrong thing. All right. Screen share, application window, MTA PERP. Let's go. All right. All right. We're back. Sorry, guys. This is really strange. Anyways, Scott will be on his way, or he is on his way. Looks like we got a double thing there, Jono. You want to take a look at that? Let's take a look at Bitcoin, because this thing was on life support this morning, kind of coming into a key level, basically a do or die as far as like another stair step down. Catching a nice bounce here. So I want to unpack that first, because even when it's boring, even when dominance is trending down, even when Ethereum is leading, Bitcoin likes to be the heartbeat of the market. And today it was getting a little nosebleedy. There's some really interesting observations made by our very own Rob Levy this morning. Basically, just that when Bitcoin was last at this price back in, I guess, January 2nd, altcoins were much lower. And I mean, yeah, of course, right? They're all catching up. They're taking off ahead of Bitcoin. So there's almost like this bullish divergence in the market right now where altcoins are obviously outperforming Bitcoin right now on the whole. And that's why we're seeing this on the dominance chart. Nice big shooting down, big drop off, big dumpy in the old Bitcoin dominance. And that is driven in most part by this, which is a level we've been watching and waiting for on Ethereum, Bitcoin, BTC. As soon as this broke out and closed, it made sense that using this fib extension, we could find the next level that Bitcoin, ETH, BTC would get to. And of course, like clockwork, just about 10 days later, we've come into that level. And as you'd expect, we're kind of seeing some resistance. There's some sellers waiting there. That's the way these extensions work. And whether it is by pure sheer magic that just happens to stop there, or if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because a lot of traders use this 1618 for their take profits, we'll never know. The nature of the Fibonacci sequence is that it is found in nature. So is it just naturally up there, or are people trading it? I'd like to speculate that it's a bit of both, but that's for another day. So with ETH BTC coming into this kind of what you might call resistance, we can expect a little bit of consolidation at that level. We can expect a little pause here on the dominance, which is what we're seeing. And so I'm actually looking to altcoins for hints of what's next. I got MTA PERP here trending up pretty nicely. I mean, beautifully off of this bottom, right? We had the breakout here, dipped into our little reload zone. We were on stream actually with Dan. I think it was last Wednesday talking about this. This is a daily, so it must have been 2 Wednesdays ago. Yeah, Ledger last Wednesday, Dan 2 weeks ago. And we just talked about it here and, talking about range lows and all that stuff. And, lo and behold, nice breakout. Can't always have that kind of good fortune, but in this case, it worked really well. Even gave us, came up into what was resistance at the time, was kind enough to let us in late on a pump chaser zone. Pretty standard stuff, and now has continued on its way. And you might bet that it tagged a fib extension as well. Oh, not quite. So it hasn't quite come up into that fib extension. So that might be something to keep an eye on, because, I mean, ultimately, this $5 breakdown area, which should act as resistance, should be a pretty good target for someone like me who just wants to trade the ranges, trade the moves, not necessarily, load up and hold indefinitely. I like to get a little tradey, rotate into some different things. So I do have a little bag of MTA, and I'm watching this thing passively. I'm not really watching it actively. So I check in on it each day. Now, this is what I want to talk about today. I mean, one of the things. But I put this together specifically for today's stream because on days like today, right, you get to new highs over the weekend. Everyone's like, yeah, rah, 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 we're going to 17, we're going to 17. And then you just start the week with this kind of bleedy, boring, kind of drippy price action. And then, of course, this morning as it goes here, there's, you look around, there's a lot of these charts that are like, oh, man, we're going way down. That was just a big trap. But if you look at this objectively, what do you get, right? Break to new highs on the year, dump it. Where? Just into the fib reload zone, basically tapping that sweet spot. Trending. Everybody's hunting longs up here, trying to get that big breakout. Punish them. Where? Right into that reload zone. Trending. Everyone's calling for highs. I even admitted myself up here. I just was looking at my stable coins going, why am I not Omega long? Why am I sitting in stable coins? This is crazy bull. We're going to highs. But, didn't pull the trigger up here because that's ridiculous. I just can't do that. And it is often the case with patience. You can be rewarded hunting entries in places like this reload zone, which we didn't quite penetrate today. Could be a sign of internal bullishness that, we just get this touch and we go. So if we get back up above this level, I'm going to be quite bullish. That's around 1367. I think if we can close a 4 hour above that, I would be feeling pretty comfy about making a new high, at least locally, if not just a big FU blast off. And it's sort of like this, right? We get that 4-hour close above, we ended up making a new high. Just like right here, got that 4-hour close above, we ended up making a new high. This level here, if we get that 4-hour close above, I imagine we'll make a new high. So I'm watching 1369 quite closely. In fact, I don't have an alert on it yet. I've just been kind of staring at it. So let's go take a look at 1369 on the alerts. Nice. There he is, ready to go anytime. These RLZs are cool. Yeah, I agree, Matt. They are pretty cool. Simple stuff. Once you get used to them, and as you guys can see, I just use them on everything now. It's second nature. I see something, I go, ooh, low, high. Let's see where we're at. Low, high. Let's take a look. Low, high. I guess I'll bid here. And it works. When you're trending up, you want to get those higher lows. They tend to be parked on some kind of fib level. Pump chaser zone if it's a very aggressive move. Reload zone if it's kind of a lazy move. And let's be honest, that's sort of what Ethereum has been since this very aggressive move from around 730 straight up to 1350. I mean, the thing almost doubled in 2 weeks. And since then, it's just been this kind of lazy move up, but it is clearly trending up still. So it looks just, it looks hungry. And the good sign here is, as you can see with all this selling, this green volume is outpacing on all the major dips. Like at the peak sort of low of all of these. Yes, that is declining, but it is, the sell volume is being outpaced here. So I'm not sure I would buy a distribution narrative here, especially not with what we're seeing in DeFi. I'm just getting word from the producer that Scotsworth Melkerson has arrived. So perhaps it is time for us to flip back to the studio. I don't suppose my camera will show up to play today. Let's go see. No, maybe. No. We getting camera here today, John? That's okay. Hey, Scott, how are you?
What's up? My head's cut off.
How you doing? Yeah.
Just like back up.
There you go. Yeah.
Got a new camera.
The opposite problem.
It was like literally today. I was working earlier, but now the framing on here is different. So I have no head. What's up?
A Brio?
No, I got like a Canon EOS 200 something or other. Oh my God, that picture you just threw on there is ridiculous. Thank you. Great.
Yeah. You're out here flexing on us with the chain and the
old DJ photo in the Jordan tank top. I was probably in my 30s there, dressed like I was 15. Classic.
I love it. Well, I'm actually having a fun thing today. We found out that Google Chrome decides it doesn't recognize my camera anymore. It's literally out of the blue, like last week. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I switched over to Safari, but they are not allowing screen share. So I'm in screen share browser now. So maybe, John, maybe you just want to stick a little scarecrow on there. It'll be a little weird, but slightly less weird than my chart. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Gonna be honest, for the first time in a very long time, I totally didn't have this on my schedule and forgot. I got on the Peloton bike for the first time in God knows how long because I felt like I was drinking too much and probably need to exercise. Got 3 minutes into it, my phone started blowing up, and here I am sweating on live stream with you guys.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you making the trip over here.
Solid 3 minutes. Solid 3 minutes.
Because I'm about ready to invest in something I can exercise from home. This lockdown is beating me up a little bit physically.
Yeah, all of us. It was funny. There's like a classic. Well, just The Onion is always classic. There was an article in the last couple of days. It was like man disappointed that home gym equipment is back in stock or something. Basically, like you had an excuse forever not to buy anything.
Yeah, exactly. I picked up power blocks off Kijiji. Picked up a little bench, but I need some cardio in my life, and skipping in an apartment doesn't cut it. Yeah, so good to have you on. I saw you were making some commentary on the GME thing. What's the latest in that? I mean, is Melvin just liquidated? They're gone, bankrupt. See you later.
I'm not sure what inevitably happened, but I believe that's the case. I mean, who knows if they'll get some bailed out in some way or what will happen. But obviously, 2 other funds came in and backstopped them when price was under, I believe, $200, and they just got completely smashed overnight by Chamath and Elon Musk tweets. Basically, I mean, What a market, man. It's really insane. It's really insane.
Yeah. Speculating myself that perhaps it's going to make some of these funds think twice about trying to short something into the ground, namely Bitcoin, because you're starting to see the power of, if that's what's going on. I know I caught in your newsletter this morning, like you're saying, well, maybe there's something else going on. It may not just be some nerds on Wall Street bets that just liquidated.
Well, I mean, we know that, like, obviously there's been reports, like, I don't remember the specifics, but like Citadel and some other huge funds, have access to at least Robinhood's order flow. I wouldn't be surprised if others. It's not far out of the realm of possibility to think that they would, front run by filling bags and then utilize things like Reddit and stuff, even if it's just through Wall Street bets or whatever, to then, sort of squeeze shorts. I don't personally believe, I mean, I know that this is retail FOMO, but I don't think, that people with $100, $200, $300 are moving GameStop price this much. It's, so
probably not.
There's a little
Although
more
I know,
to it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's some shooters on Wall Street bets that are posting, massive positions, but in general, it's this kind of nerd army meme stuff that's going on.
I mean, it's
today,
the highest volume
agree.
stock on the exchange.
Yeah, it's likely a few other people involved. I read an interesting thread by Sohail Bloomer. Sohail Bloom.
Sohail
Bloom. Yeah, and just caught him on Twitter there, and I mean, just breaking down the idea of a short squeeze and a gamma squeeze. He kind of put that together. If you guys check our Twitter, you can take a read of that. It explains in lay terms what a gamma squeeze is. So I learned something new today.
Who's the master of the layman's terms, simplifying complex topics and really making it understandable. But listen, like, there's one side that's stick it to the man, and it's really exciting, and it's kind of fun to see. There's the other side that there's people that work at that hedge fund and have families. B, I think that the very fact that it's possible shows some major cracks, I would say, in the foundation of the market. And so we've all traded crypto for a long time, right? We know what happens we know how this ends, generally. And most people are not going to know when to sell, and it probably won't end that well. So it's, I would proceed with extreme caution. I'm looking at the AMC chart you have up there. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, and this one stings a bit. John, if you want to flip back to a chart, we'll get a slightly better view of this AMC. But, this one stings, and I'll tell you why. I actually forget who, but somebody messaged me, and it was on Friday. Now, of course, without that new volume in here, this was a big bar, right? When this came in, and it was Friday after the close, they said, man, like AMC, it's at the bottom, just broke up, tons of volume, like check that out. And I was like, okay, cool, like weird. AMC Entertainment, like I liked Walking Dead, but whatever, let's long it. And then the Monday morning pre-market, it was already trading up here at 455. So I was like, well, that's such bullshit. I don't really understand where they get off being like, crypto's the Wild West, it's risky, it's not fair. And then like you go over to the stock market and there's all this trading going on when you're not allowed to trade it. So who the hell are they? How does that work? It drives me crazy. So I passed on it because I was like, salty. I was like, oh, fuck that. I had some bids way above on pre-market. And naturally I woke up today and I kind of laughed. I was like, oh, another pre-market pump. Right. Holy shit.
Yeah. And you just touched on something that's kind of crazy. And I spoke to, I can't get into specifics, but so there's AMC, which is the movie theaters. And there's AMCX, which is Walking Dead and Better Call Saul and such. And the one they're trying to pump is AMC, the movie theater, right? Movie theaters are dead. Business is bad. But as a result of having a ticker that's one letter off, AMCX also got pumped.
Okay, because that would be me. That'd be like somebody like
me. And I know someone who had a massive short on AMCX at a fund and obviously got absolutely destroyed only because people didn't know the right ticker. Well, you're looking at the right ticker. You're just thinking of the wrong company.
Yeah, no, this is AMCX.
AMC is the movie theaters, and AMCX is the network, which it's a terrible company and should be going down. That's the kind of the fundamental problem with this, right? Is like you touched on it. I mean, a hedge fund should not be allowed to short something to the ground necessarily, but like the price of the stock of a shitty company should go down.
If
And
it's
we're seeing,
overvalued, yeah.
correct, but what we're seeing is the shittiest of the shittiest being pumped to the sky.
Yeah. It's a little crazy. It's
So
kind of like
we saw with Hertz last year, right? I mean, Dave
yeah,
Portnoy and
we're
yeah. So
bankrupt, and then it like 4x.
yeah.
So it's weird.
So
A
that
lot of
means that the
games.
market's
Yeah.
not working, right?
Well, yeah, not as intended. I mean, there's so much of this, like should it just be open and you can do whatever you want, and then you see people's shorts and you just want to squeeze them because you can liquidate them and somehow make money off that. Like, is it going to be free roam like that, or do they need regulations? And there's always this two-sided
I'm
coin.
all for the free market, and I think that this should absolutely be allowed. I'm just saying it could be a sign of bad times coming. You know what I mean? So when the market
Oh,
gets
you're saying, yeah,
extremely,
like the
yeah, when
model
the market
breaking
gets
down.
extremely irrational and there's all kinds of FOMO and these crazy things are happening, that could be a predecessor to like a bigger problem. That's all I'm saying. I think that they should be allowed to do it. Listen, hedge funds do it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
and it's funny that, they announced today, or they made a comment, the head of the NASDAQ made a comment today saying, hey, if we see, we're going to be monitoring social media activity. And if we see any unusual activity on a certain ticker, we'll freeze trading on that ticker. What?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I mean, how absurd that is. So like a hedge fund's allowed to short squeeze something, but a bunch of retail dudes aren't, A. And B, what's the threshold there? Is it 100 tweets? Is it 1,000 tweets? Do you do it to all the stocks? Should we just, will people just start spamming cash tags and get everything shut down? It's just such a slippery, insane slope.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Bitcoin gets tons of hashtags every day. Where do you draw the line? Not that they could shut that down, but I mean, they could always freeze the CME, I guess. But this whole pre-market, post-market has always been like a little thorn in my side. I mean, I'm sure there's like stock guys around. There's like, yeah, man, it's just this, and it's the way it goes, and it's fine, and you're a noob. But coming from crypto entirely. I mean, I never traded a stock in my life before I found crypto, and then now I'm kind of coming back into it. The one thing I like is that when crypto's nosebleedy or boring or all going down together, generally speaking, when it's not sexy, you just look and there's some stock somewhere is doing some crazy shit. They're less correlated overall. Venture cap models obviously can moon while the S&P is rolling over. Like, there's just a lot more fun over there.
Sure.
On days when crypto maybe is less exciting. So I am getting more and more attracted to it. However, this post-market, pre-market drives me crazy. I'm always like wanting to have the edge, right? So when I show up there and I'm like, there's literally people trading this right now. But if I go to my broker and I'd say, like, to buy or sell, like, sorry, sir, only rich people right now. You'll be allowed to trade their bags later when they're done. Like, it just seems so convoluted and kind of counter to the whole thing about, let's get the SEC in here to protect investors. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not really a level playing field.
Yeah, sorry, sir. You'll have to wait at the back of the line. First and second class first. I feel like I'm on the Titanic waiting for a lifeboat, basically, and I'm being told to wait below. So
you just need a broker who will let you do it.
Yeah, I've heard that Questrade lets you on at like somebody this morning. They said Questrade lets you start trading at like 7:30 a.m., which for me locally is like 2 hours ahead of the market open. So maybe I need to throw a few $100 over there and start buying these up.
Trying to focus my camera. It's not going too good. There it is. Oh, yeah, I zoomed out. Yeah, that's whatever. Good enough.
I just got a new camera as well. And weirdly, the day that I ordered it, the next day on stream, this thing decided that's like, I do not recognize your camera. Like, I hadn't even gotten the new one yet. And it's like, if you get a new camera, I'm not going to work for you. So it was weird. Strange happenings. What do you say we flip over? I mean, we'll check into the chat. We've got quite a few people in here. Nathan, Nathaniel, Miriam, Matt, B2 wins. Good to see you guys. Trading view indicator built. If you're not allowed to use the TV word here. Are you manually setting those up in Hxro, or is there a trading view indicator built? Not too sure what you're asking about, B2 wins, but you can clarify for us and we'll let you know. Glad to be back. Hxro Labs University lectures. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. I mean, I've been following a bit on Twitter, some of your charts lately. You're kind of where I'm at. I mean, it's just looking a little nosebleedy, but it is in a zone where all of this, and this is where I'm kind of starting today. I mean, there is bearish market structure on the daily.
Sure.
Just objectively speaking, that's just what it is, right? It's a high, it's a lower high, it's a breakdown, it's a retest and fail. But we're in a rip roaring bull, and early on in these rip roaring bulls through the last cycle, which is all I can really measure off of if I want to use the past to help me understand the future, is we did get this kind of a breakdown, and then it just kind of had a little dump, and then it just reversed. So when you get a bull on the back end of bearish structure, it's actually like twice as strong a signal. So half expecting something like that. What do you see on yours?
I mean, a bull flag is a bearish structure, right? Because
That's an interesting point. Yeah, let's go look at that.
It's all about, I guess, perception. So a bull flag, to form a bull flag, or we have a descending wedge right now, but obviously if it makes a slightly lower low, that could turn into a bull flag there.
I've actually got that up here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a descending triangle, but if you take those two wicks, and connect them, then you have a descending. Yeah, I would pull it down to the wick personally, but from wick to wick. Yeah, exactly. So, and I would drop that line. Yeah, just like that. But if it comes down lower into that kind of area everyone's watching, 28, 27, 26, it would make a perfect bull flag. So it's all about perspective. You can say it's a bearish market structure, but if you're super bullish on the weekly or the daily, and all of a sudden the 4-hour turns to a bearish structure, well, you have a high, low, lower high, lower low. That's bull flag.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it really depends on what you're doing, horizontals and diagonals. I know a lot of people who like one or the other. I kind of explore both. I tend to weight the horizontals a little better, but I'm not looking for like, is this going to be a bear market? I just don't think it is. The probability is too low. I'm not looking for it. I did take some off, through this because it's been a great year.
I took the beating of the century selling at 40,000 on Twitter. So
I remember that. And it's funny when you see guys, a lot of guys up there were taking profits, and a lot of them, they have to write like a whole essay to talk about why they're still bullish, but they just want to, because there's something to be said. Like, this is one of my grinds against social media that I don't like, is that there is this kind of social pressure to conform, which is so counterintuitive to being successful in the market. I mean, you want to be, buying up, buying at the highs, but you want to be buying when things are kind of boring and bearish and everyone thinks you're an idiot. Like March 13th last year, March 21st, like the days following. Buying there was not a very popular thing. You just sounded like a moon boy. It's like, come on, bro, it's a bear market. What are you doing? You want me to lose more money? And then when you get up to 40K, if you talk about selling something, you're a pariah, right? So I notice myself getting quieter when I'm kind of counter to the move. I just don't tweet it. I'm like, well, whatever. Like,
I like a good beating. I'm a masochist. You know what I mean? I've always taken the opinion that I'm just gonna. Well, first of all, if you're worried about the opinion of what other people, I mean, you're kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't, right? Because if you sell and don't tell people, then it comes back around. Then you were a liar, right? You're a LARP, and you never, and you didn't really do it. And then, but if you do tell them, then you're the asshole who's selling. So good luck.
Yeah, well, it's exactly. There's no win, and it depends, I guess, on the nature of it. Like, I don't have a big following. I'm not like somebody that I don't think, anyways, that people are depending on what I think for their decisions. I mean, in some cases that is just the case, but yeah, there's definitely some times when it's not even a strong lean, but it'll just be like I don't know, like a move up into this little short reload zone here, and I'm like just shorting the shit out of it on the weekend. I'm like, I'm not going to bother tweeting this because I don't really want to talk to anyone about it. I'm just going to short it, just going to have my fun, and
But if you didn't put it on Twitter, it didn't happen.
Exactly. Where's my clout? And then the thing is, the last thing you want to do though is then come out here and be like, my short worked out great. It's like,
and then they're like, you didn't say you took a short.
If you didn't,
I've been tracking your tweets.
Yeah. So, but
oh, sorry, I didn't realize that I worked for 175,000 people, but apparently I do.
You do, man. You are on the hook, my boy. Let's take a look at Iris. I got a funny one for you today. I learned a lesson again. There's this cool new feature on Binance. And when I say cool, I'm rolling my eyes inwardly. Basically, apparently by default now on my phone, on the app, which I usually don't trade off, but I was doing it today. And there's like, you can pay the amount of the coin you want or the total dollars you want to spend.
Really?
So and so, and if it's in market buy, if it's in limit, I think it's just the amount. But I had a market buy set because I wasn't planning to buy very much, and I didn't really want to think about it. I was like, you know what? We just got a nice breakout. It's pulling back a bit. I'm just gonna ape in right here because this breakout kind of came down and then it was back down here. I was like, cool, I'm just going to buy a little iris. And it was on the amount. So I put in a fairly large number because it's a 6-cent coin. I was like, yeah, I just want to buy that many of those coins. And I spent that many dollars. So this wick right here, I'm pretty sure was me, and my average was pretty much the high. So that's how my morning went.
If you ain't fat fingering, you ain't trading.
It was kind of a fat finger. It was more just like a blind man's bluff. I don't know. Like I just didn't see the thing. So, but you know what? I'm holding it for a bit. Still within my risk parameters because I play so small, ridiculous right now. So, anyways, that's how my morning started, and I've been recovering ever since.
You'll get back there.
Yeah,
that's good.
I think so, man. I mean, look, coming up off the bottom. This is what I wanted to talk about, anyways, and it's kind of a nice thing because it's like the trade is still here. In fact, everyone, on my Twitter who saw me buy this, maybe I don't know if I posted this on my Twitter, but either way. It's available. It's a pump chaser zone, breaking up off the lows with some volume, settling down into here, and then just a nice little breakout, some nice volume coming in. So the thing is, it got smacked down because of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin started to roll over today as this happened. So I think the USD pairs took a little break, but I like Iris. I think I'm going to hold on to that, even though it's about 17 times the size of the position I had intended. It was meant to be. It was meant to, like, it wasn't like I'm going to go my whole position right here. So as it turns out, I'm now in a full position. So whatever. But yeah,
I think you'll be all right. Personally, I think that looks like you'll be all right.
Yeah, no, I'm not too sweaty about it. So that's where I'm at. What are you doing in the market these days to make money? Where's your alpha? Where's your edge? Are you trading the Bitcoin two-way? Are you trading altcoins? Are you looking versus Bitcoin versus USD? What are you doing?
Honestly, man, I have not been trading very much. And the reason is not because I don't see the market as good. Well, for Bitcoin, I do see it as sort of chopping sideways. It's just not ideal for me. I like to catch sort of bigger moves and whatever. But altcoins have been rising, but it's largely stuff I accumulated for months and months and months and like years. So it's kind of like this rare opportunity where all that work you did for years, you just got to kind of watch it go up. And so and to be honest, if we're talking about the size and everything, when the portfolio grows to a certain size, if you want it to be worth taking a lot of trades, you need to obviously up the size of your trading significantly. Frankly, I just didn't see it as worth it to keep trading at the normal size and be, and have to take the time and worry about it. So largely I've just been like riding these positions. I was in a whole lot of, kind of Uniswap DeFi stuff very, very early that has just, done huge moves. And I'm more of a seller than a buyer at the moment, to be honest. Not because I think the market's going down. I think it's going to continue to rage. It's just like, I just need to sell something. So and so I just have been skimming off the top of like really good trades and more sort of managing my portfolio than I have been, it's weird, but I was scalping around on Bitcoin today, which I haven't done in forever, just kind of around the bottom of the range because I just kind of got into it and it was fun, but I have not been trading that much. I'm trading some stocks.
Yeah, well, that is something we should touch on because I've got, similar to you. I mean, I had a good year 2020 and talking to some buddies, and I said, look, guys, I need to take getting wrecked or losing these gains off of the table. Like I need to take that scenario. I need to lower that probability to 0. I will not suffer through any kind of catastrophic downside again, period. I made that commitment to myself when I did it for a second time mid 2018 after coming back from a lot of the 2017 low, so I kind of had like a big dip, obviously after 2017, had another great 2018 summer off an ICO, and then let that drip away. And I said, okay, never again. So I've been kind of like you. I've been cutting a lot of positions over the last couple weeks. Guys in the stream probably remember that. I'm just like, I don't know, weirdly, I'm just selling altcoins. Mostly looking to consolidate, but then also putting a little in the bank, getting that, because I can play from that position now a lot more comfortably. I'm sleeping, but
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. And if I take 25%, just say, of my portfolio and put it in the bank, like my portfolio, okay, like it's still there. It's okay. I don't notice that as much. In fact, it fluctuates by that weekly. anyways, almost, right? And then, but when I put that into my bank, it makes a difference for me. So I did that
I
last
agree.
week.
I've always said if you're making life-changing money, you take it off the table no matter what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I basically hit 2021. Like I didn't want any more taxable events in 2020. I hit 2021 and I basically like in the first 2 or 3 weeks, it kept going up and I paid myself for the entire year and more, made sure that taxes were 100% covered. And like, I'm largely going into USDC and it's sitting on Voyager and BlockFi and such, earning 9%. It's not like the old days where you had to take it to cash and feel really shitty. Now I just move it to USDC, earn 8.5 to 9.5% compounding interest when it's compounding monthly on that yearly APR. And so I feel kind of good about it. And that's it. I'll take it out when I need to pay taxes, take it out when I need to do things. Now I'm sort of just on cruise control, I feel like. Yep.
Then it'll be okay. And I'm going to spend 0 seconds worrying or wondering what might have happened had I just been all in the whole way through. Like, because I'm not in it for this cycle alone. I'm in it, I'm looking to be trading fairly long term. So I've got to,
Yeah, and the
have
notion that you're going to time the bottom, like sell the dead top and buy the dead bottom, is ludicrous. If you're smart, you scale in and you scale out. You know what I mean? And if you've made a lot of money, it's like you said, it's so funny. If your portfolio can do 10, 15% in a day, which they do all the time in this market, why does it matter if you literally take 10% off and your portfolio rises back to the exact same point tomorrow?
Yeah. And that's actually what happened to me last Thursday. We dumped such, a heavy amount. I had a lot of exposure on that one and just kind of watched it. I was like, okay, wow, that was a lot of downside. And then it bounced back and I got probably like 75% of that back. And then I just withdrew it, that, sort of cream on top. And so my balance was basically where it was on Thursday at that low, but now I've got some lining in the bank. So yeah, long story short, I think, paying
I'm a huge
yourself,
fan of taking profit. Yeah.
paying yourself. We talk about a lot here. And, for somebody who's just joining into the market and they're like, you know what, I just deposited my first $500 or my first $1,000, okay, that's a different story. You're in a different position. You've got a different plan. But, for anyone who's been lingering here through 2020, maybe you didn't hit your goals. Maybe you didn't hit like what you consider life-changing gains. But, if I'm up 10, 20x, on maybe what I invested initially, and I haven't paid myself yet, I'm setting myself up for disaster in the future.
Disaster.
As a habit.
Disaster. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. You just got, I mean, listen, you're not supposed to make emotional decisions, but if you've experienced the emotion of having it all and then watching it disappear, then you definitely want to prevent that. And so if you have the opportunity to prevent that, you do. So yeah, I mean, listen, also the notion that you're a professional trader if you never take profit is absurd. How do you pay your bills as a professional if you're not ever exiting the market?
Two-way street to pain, but the pain of perhaps not paying yourself when you should have or could have versus paying yourself at the wrong time, a little early, whatever, and then you look at it go off. One of them will leave you broke, one of them will leave you slightly less rich. Like,
yeah, exactly.
A pretty easy decision when you put it that way, right?
Yeah, so true.
So let's take a look at ONX. I've been toying with this chart here while we've been chatting. This is one we talked about. I don't know, was this like January 24th? Was that 3 days ago? So I guess this is from Monday, but this thing has blasted past even what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I just didn't think it would go like 3x. Shout out to Joel Birch, good buddy of mine, who, we were talking in one of the chats and he's like, ONX is my gem play. It's a, let's see, it's like a new finance, DeFi. I don't know what differentiates all these. There's so many different finances. I know they got staking, they got lending, all that stuff. Is that enough nowadays to just be
all
another,
the same, right?
be another of that? But, I couldn't tell you. I looked into it. I couldn't quite decide exactly what was different about this one. What I did know is that, the market cap was like 4 million. And then the fully diluted valuation was like 4 million. It was basically all circulating. I was like, okay, I like the sound of that. and you can stake it, 35%, whatever. So pick some up in this consolidation. I think it was this one. There's this one. Either way, got some. And then actually, interestingly enough, I actually paid myself. I took a free position here. So, you buy some, sell half on a double. And that free position is doing really well. I spent about 4 seconds going, well, I should have waited for a little bit, but again, not really conducive. So yeah. ONX. I don't know if anybody knows anything more about it, but if you guys watching maybe figured out what the hell this candle was.
Talk about a rounding bottom. I mean, that's, if you ever look up rounding bottom, this is your there it is.
So beautiful. And it's so boring, right? Through this, you're just like, oh, shitcoin, never gonna get any interest. Let's take a look at another one now, because now that we've seen sort of what happens after you get out of these, what can happen. Obviously the next question is like, well, what's
find another one, right? Dude,
yeah,
Nord, I posted this today. I think this is going to blast off. This is like the only trade that I shared basically today in the newsletter.
Nord. Yeah. No, Nord Finance. I mean, I saw it on a few spreadsheets over the last few months, like, giving it those like AA ratings and all that stuff. So I just thought, okay, it's standing out in that.
It's a good price. It's a real project for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Nord Finance is one that I've been watching since launch, and it just looks like it's just actually, is it just breaking out right now? Live in the air.
I think this is going to go.
Yeah.
Funny that, I mean, to anyone who's listening, we did not plan this. Yeah, I mean, I love this thing here.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, resistance, breakout. So we'll see. I don't even think I own any of this right now. I've been staring at it a lot. Now I'm talking about it as it's breaking out, but I don't know that I picked some up yet, but that wouldn't be new for me, and that's okay. Another one that I want to talk about today is Kudos. I don't know that, it's not a dot finance. Crypto Gambit is in chat with me. Be mine that I met through, God, am I searching for Gambit? No, Kudos. Buddy of mine that I met through Share Dollar Protocol. Good guy. Seems really smart. Got a decent little following on Twitter. Has been sharing some interesting ideas with me, and he's really bullish on Kudos. Basically like a Web3 token, infrastructure token for Web 3.0. So maybe, less of a dot finance. Are they hot right now, and that's where I should focus? Or is this, but he shared a lot of interesting stuff. So I'm bullish on it from that level. And then I looked at the chart today and I thought, generally speaking, this is just where I like to buy stuff. Breakout, dump it down, break it out, and then just that slow meandering drip into the reload zone. So
yeah.
And that's exactly what we saw with another coin that's been doing really well, CFI. And you can see that exact same thing right here. So it actually reminds me a lot of my CFI chart. Same kind of thing, right? Breakout, down, up, and then just kind of slowly dripping down into the reload zone. And once all those sellers are gone from the pre-sale, whoever, you tend to find a bottom and see what it's worth. So CFI breaking the highs here too.
I love buying the pre-sale dumps. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
on the first release for Polka Starter, it was like Polka Starter was at 20 cents and it dumped to 10, and I loaded up and it was 18 cents like 30 minutes later.
Yeah, right here.
Listen, I've had some of these go wrong actually. With like I did the same. I can't even remember, but just didn't go back up. but I do like it conceptually.
Yeah, as a rule, if you can find a distribution, I mean, like, well, think about Solana was like the big one, right? Solana was like everybody was watching for that. They're basically 5xing the circulating supply, and when that day finally came, this was it. I think this actually came into the day, and then it was January 7th where that big supply distribution happened. And guess what? Everyone trying to short it got blown up hard. I mean, these two volume bars. I mean, imagine waiting for the day where 500 million tokens or whatever it was are released onto the market, and that's the day you decide to just buy this much. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty public information. So, if someone knows that a bunch of people are going to be selling, it's a really good way to fill a whole lot of orders on something that's not, particularly liquid. So,
yeah, that's a good way to think of it as well. And I know that there was some speculation around like, well, a lot of those tokens are held by team and held by advisors and people that aren't really rushing to just dump out the door. I mean, it's not that kind of project. They're building something pretty
It's generally the influencers or whatever that dump, I think. Like the people who are in the pre-sale, not like seed strategic necessarily, but more like marketing and whatever.
Yeah. And I'm getting like the slightest pang of FOMO on Nord. So I hope we can make it through the stream in one piece, because I kind of want a little bit. I would like a little bit, but look at that. I mean, look at the daily. Jesus. I mean, yeah, thank you, John. Producer just confirmed he'll pick me up a little bit while we're live. Shout out to the producer. Like whatever, it's $4.80. All I care about when I'm looking at something like this is, can I get a double? Because once I get a double,
you're playing with the casino's money.
That's right. I get my free position. What does that look like here? I mean, yeah, I think I can do that. And now it's a matter of when, how long. If I was trading this, myself, I would risk missing it by trying to get like a pump chaser zone.
Did it just gap since we were talking about it?
I think so. Right here. Yeah. So we're starting to see that, actually. I think now it could be total coincidence, but there's been one or two times we've talked about things on here. And then like I'm still talking about it. It's like boom, and I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I mean, one buy order can move these things.
Yeah,
can certainly do that.
So what our 382.5 getting into here, like off that wick, this would be a load up zone. It's just really hard, I find, to trade these fibs on Uniswap because you don't get the limit orders. And I've tried one inch.
Which proves to you it's not the flow of nature that's causing the fibs. It's a bunch of people putting their orders on the same lines, which you can't do. So
yeah, you cannot do it. But 1 inch limit orders don't work as advertised. These wicks, like if I have a sell here and that comes in wicks up, my 1 inch order does not fire. I found that out the hard way.
I haven't even tried.
Yeah, I think it has to just chill there. Like it has to be fairly comfortably in your zone, and then you just kind of like it automatically exits. I mean, that's a great tool, but it is far from the same as getting like being the fill, being the reason it stopped there. And I guess they do that because if it wicks up there, comes right back down, and then your limit order fills, and it's a market order, you're going to be right down here, and it's just ugly. So all for the better, I guess. But yeah, holy shit, Nord Finance looks hungry. So we want to see volume. This is big, crazy buy volume. This a little less exciting for now, but I think
I have a feeling that's going to change.
Yeah, I think I can get my double, and that's all I want. So I'm in. Thank you again. Shout out to the producer, help me out a bit. And then kudos. So these are kind of the names. Oh, Yop. We got to talk about Yop. Have you heard about Yop yet, Scott?
No, but the names of these things are so funny.
Give me Yop, me ma. And now it's basically just this mobile app that will allow you to, host your crypto. Obviously, it'll be custodial, but also engage in farming, DeFi farming, optimization, getting in and out, getting a lot of data on the market. Where's your best APYs, pushing and pulling, and some other protective features as well. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff as far as like aggregating the farming space onto a cell phone, making it easier to access. So I actually really want to use it, first off. But here's why I wanted to talk about it today. Because we just kind of got some bullish market structure last night. So, you're trending down after the initial sort of listing, sell-off, trending up, breakout, and then go figure right into that reload zone today. So something interesting could be brewing here. They just announced a partnership with, oh dear, I tweeted it. Who is it? Big partnership, Pello. So, traditional finance. There's two traditional financial investors now in this one. So they're really, leaning in on that London stock market kind of London investment space. They're getting a lot of, traditional investments. So one to keep an eye on, I think. And this rejection candle here, who knows how it's going to look, consolidation here, but it's looking decent.
Yeah, that's great.
So those are the names that I'm looking at that I kind of had on the list of like, hey, when I'm on with Scott, we'll talk about this. You haven't been doing a ton of trading, you said. You did pick up some Nord. Anything else on your list or kind of your thesis around right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things I always like. There's a few that I'm kind of stalking for drops. I mean, I've been really bullish on Dot that I have been trading to some degree, but I kind of loaded up, and again, now I'm sort of riding it. Um, I've been definitely stalking a potential entry on Link on the Bitcoin pair. If that drops, I love eGold still. I've been in that since around $10. It just hit 50. Polka Starter, Maha DAO. Dude, is it over 50 again right now?
Yeah,
Like,
eGold stings, dude. This is
look
me
at that
down
rounding
here.
bottom. You want a
Yeah,
rounding bottom? Look at that
this is
thing.
me down here in November shopping the breakout, and then just I don't know what happened. I think I missed this candle. I was like, oh well, I'll have to get the next one.
I
Classic
mean,
RT.
that thing is
Here we go.
unstoppable force of nature.
Yeah, and in retrospect, I mean, as far as like what I'm going to journal about, I just didn't really bother me. I was just doing some other things, and here's the thing: if your month over a month equity curve is doing okay as a trader, you eventually this stuff doesn't bother me. Even though like now I look at it, I'm like, oh man, that'd be cool if I actually did buy that here. Of course it would be, but what did I do with that capital in between, right? And I can't really measure that, so you just got to
Right.
have faith in your plan. I really, it is weird, but I'm completely numb to it now. This used to be like a stressful thing, and then you let it stress you out, you end up buying it in these weirder awkward places. But pump chaser zone, and this is what I'm talking about, guys. If you want to chase something, right, whereas I just looked at this and I was like, probably a little far for me, because obviously locally it was, but goes up, kind of comes down, didn't even hit the pump chaser zone there, just took off, gets up to that next high, comes in, tags it perfectly. There's another possibility if I want to chase this thing up, if I'm looking at a whole cycle. Same thing here. Gets to a new high, comes down, tags the pump chaser. Like this guy, this stuff's clockwork, guys. So
Yeah,
please,
this thing is just climbing the stairs. I mean, so,
yeah,
you can kind of pull up to 41 or something right there. And if you get a drop, that's where I would have been looking. The top of that other consolidation, sort of the last one before this rocket.
yeah. Well, yeah. So right here. So if you're chasing it up here and you're like, man, how do I get in? I want to chase this
Yep.
pump, but I don't want to buy the top. Well, you just look for these 382s. Very easy to do in retrospect, but in live action, you can get pretty good at it. I've actually got a few very pleasant DMs from guys that are like, man, that pump chaser zone's working great. And that's great because I actually suck at using it. I love it for analysis, and I have started using it more and more. But I talk about it all the time, and then look back and somebody's like, oh, great fill, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, fuck, I missed that. So it's not the front and center of my trading plan, but when you're in these kinds of markets, there's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of like, holy shit, how do I get in? How do I get in? Well, get that high in there and just pray for the 382. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. There's somebody, one of these assets will fill you at that level.
Yeah.
And you just got to hope it continues. There's always, always, always risk on that. So,
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta accept that you're gonna miss some. That like if you're trying to catch that drop, that you might have to do it on another asset if it leaves without you. But I'm fine with that.
yeah, not falling in love with an asset is another key rule that obviously makes trading a lot easier. So you end up buying things because they're in a zone that makes it good risk reward for you, rather than because it's an asset you just can't live without. There's just always something that's in an RLZ. There's always something that's in a pump chaser zone. And when you're in a market like crypto and everything's just going to either go up or down together en masse, I mean, not every project will pump and not every project will necessarily drag out, but you can be pretty confident that if everything just starts moving, eventually the rest will. Why not be shopping, shopping location, shopping the lows, shopping the mids, shopping the pullbacks? Like there's just, I always wonder when I see something pumping and I'm like, who's buying this here? There's just armies of people that are market buying into highs. Like I never get it. I don't know
It's the
who they
people who
are.
use the Binance function wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this think, same thing here. So you get dot, it's been consolidating so long, big, juicy, rounded bottom, really nice breakout. All this time spent sitting in that, or wait for the breakout. Yeah, you missed the bottom, but you can catch that little continuation pattern. And now your opportunity cost is minimal because you didn't sit around waiting for it. What does it look like from here? Well, yeah, maybe it's going to come into this zone from here. You can also try to measure it like from the latest low up to that high. There's a few different ways to skin the cat. But the least risky is to take the full range. Obviously, you get a lower entry, less likely to get filled, but a sweeter entry if you do. So these fibs, man, I'll tell you, if I could marry a trading tool, I'd marry the fib.
As I was joking to say on my stream, show me your fibs.
Yeah, show me your fibs, baby.
Show me your fibs. Come on, pull them up. Show me your fibs.
Sam Bankman-Fried put out an interesting thread yesterday on Serum and describing it as not just a DEX, but more of an ecosystem hosting a number of apps and stuff. So I read that, got me more bullish on Serum. I was already quite bullish. Looks like it's having a little tweezery top day here, but this is one that I did actually trade the way that I should perhaps have intended. So that's a good story. I don't miss everything, guys. Just once in a while. But if you're staring at 100 charts a day, you're going to miss 97 of them. I mean, that's again, I just get numb to it now.
I just set alarms and move on, but by the time they go off, usually it's too late. So
yeah. And almost every single time, without fail, if I break my rules to get into one because I missed it or whatever, I just lose money. And because I'm tracking that, because I'm writing that down or journaling it and checking the data on my trade journal, I know that now, right? If I didn't track that, I might trick myself into thinking that on the whole, it's not so bad. But I bet like 60, 70% of my losses last year just came from broken rules. So, and I mean, I'm not perfect. I still break them sometimes, but to that point, if you guys aren't writing down some of the things you're learning in the market and some of the results you're experiencing, you're setting yourself up to repeat those mistakes.
Totally agree.
What's one of the biggest mistakes you've made trading, Scott?
Oh, I've made every single one. And like 10, 20 times. I was terrible at trading for a really long time. I would say that revenge trading was probably my biggest problem. Stopping out of something, then immediately stalking a new entry and coming in when I probably shouldn't have, and then losing again because I was actually right the first time where I put my stop. Basically, the major mistakes that I've made in trading are all a result of emotions, not following rules and just sort of jumping back into trades when I shouldn't, moving my stop loss down, refusing to take profit when I plan to, and watching, it dump back to my stop loss when I would have taken profit at the perfect spot. Same stuff everyone does. I mean, we've all done it.
Yeah, I wrecked an account on BitMEX where, it went down probably 50% in like one session of total stupidness. But I always have just had this like, I'm just like, well, fuck, I'm done. And that might be from, my gambling background where I have blown up a sports book, an account before.
Yeah.
And so so to be fair, I have blown up an account, but then with the BitMEX one, I just like hit the withdraw and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm running, but it was still like a stupidly annoying drawdown. So, but that's one thing. And so when guys are saying like, I've blown out so many accounts, I'm like, really? Like, I get it. And everyone does apparently. But it's,
I blowed up accounts.
It's tough. It's tough.
Blew them right up.
Yeah. Like I guess where I struggled with was once the account gets down to a certain level, I guess at that point you're just like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll punt this last little bit, but I can't grow it back like in the time that I'd want to because I'm so wrecked. So like I would just usually withdraw that and like buy a chocolate bar or something.
Well, that's smarter.
So
you blew it. You just didn't take the last step.
Yeah, I
got shot in the knees and the elbows, and
then I crawled home. Yeah. No, it's not a bragging point for sure. My point is I have blown myself up, but never like a full blown like you liquidated zero, which I was surprised how many people like great traders that I know that had done that, and they say multiple times. I'm like, geez, because it's painful, man. Fuck it, even a 50% drawdown is insane. It's very, very painful.
Oh, so painful.
I can relate now. Here's one that I'm looking at. This is not financial advice, guys. This is just my trade setup I had on there, but I'll leave it on because I think part of our discussion can be around, how the hell do you measure risk, right? I'm on this trade, I'm risking $1, for example. And if I am right, I will get $4.39. If I am wrong, I will get about 84 cents. Or whatever. I'm going to lose. Well, I don't know if that was the way I should describe that. 4.39 to 1. Okay. So if I am correct on this trade, I could be wrong on this trade 3 times in a row and still make money if I am right on the 4th. That's I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's VidT. VidT. It's got
Fidita.
Vidita. It's got a nice little, not quite a rounded bottom, not quite like the ones we were looking at. But this consolidation and then to break out today and the volume starts to grow, when it retests that level, I get excited. And if I can risk to this low, ride it up to sort of, some old resistance perhaps and the chaos level 618, that's a trade that I'll take most of the time in this market, this type of market, right? All coins are going crazy. So keep an eye out on VidT. If it hits the leaderboard in the next week, you'll see me dancing in the streets. But maybe not. It's not a huge position, but so that's the other one.
It's dancing. That's all that matters.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun, right? I mean, you got to enjoy yourself. Try to. What do you think of the Dixie? Dixie kind of poked up a little bit today. I mean, certainly not losing.
I didn't look at it today. Let me take a peek.
Yeah, kind of. I've got your monthly on my Dixie chart, not this one, but I have another Dixie now. I'm looking at that monthly, that channel breakdown.
Yeah.
Ever since we last talked about it, I think that's been on my radar.
Been nothing but down since.
What's that, John?
I think you're telling me I got to go soon. But yeah, the DXY.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that we're gonna have little bounces, but I still don't see the massive bull case that a lot of people have been making. I don't know. I think it's got more downside coming.
Fundamentally, it'd be really weird to disagree on that. Definitely.
It's not like they're going to stop printing.
Yeah. No. So this little rally today, I mean, this is the 3-day, obviously. So guys, we do have to wrap in just a few minutes. That is what the producer was telling me. But yeah, this little rally today I thought was weird, but it's not a significant breakout in the sense that this is just chop. And that's what you would expect, I think.
At a level. You're hitting some support and chopping around a little bit before
there's an argument. There's an argument taking place. And last time it was at this level, it was from January until April. So it's basically all of Q1 2018 that it chopped here. So what we should be paying attention to is sort of these highs, these lows. That's the significant stuff. And if we do rally, I mean, sorry guys, that's going to be ugly for most assets.
Yeah, it's good night.
Yeah, and if we drop down, obviously that's moon time. So very important chart to keep an eye on. Let's flip back to, well, right here, the studio. This is the best I got today. Apparently I can have...
Oh, now I have an excuse to just skip it. Gotta go to dinner and hang out with the kids and whatever. Yeah, of course. I don't know when I feel like it, but I usually always 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. But I'm looking to solidify that probably like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 p.m. with some random stuff in between.
Oh dear. Hello?
I'm here. I hear you. But
all right.
I don't know if they're hearing us.
All right. I'm seeing some comments about no sound and awkward. I think, no, that's Royal Fortune posting contract addresses in the chat. Just an obvious shout out, guys. Be careful clicking on and loading coins that are posted in the chat. We do not endorse such behavior, Royal Fortune, please. Anyways, I don't know that we're being heard right now. The 20-second delay is making it extra fun. Okay. All right, guys. Didn't get the socials out at Real Hero Labs, at Random Task 555. You guys want to follow along. And if you don't mind, are we good in the studio now? The sound still back? Okay. All right. We're back. Thanks, guys. Okay. If you guys appreciate what we did here today, despite the sound and audio issues, video issues, you can hit us up in the comments. Hit us with a like, hit us with a sub. Let us know. We'll be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m., which is actually when Scott just pointed out that he likes to stream too. So we're actually.
No, I won't be on. I won't be on tomorrow probably at that time. So enjoy.
Sweet. So we'll be on at 2 tomorrow. But if you guys haven't already, check out Scott Melker's YouTube. He's on quite often at 2 p.m. He is the kind of guy I like to go and watch when I get some time to watch on YouTube.
Thank you.
So if you haven't checked that out yet, you can do that as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Scott.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
And we'll talk to you again shortly. We'll reel you back in, maybe. Let's see Q2 where we can get an alt season.
Anytime.
All right.
Let's do it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Talk soon.